Well, good evening, Mr. Cheese, or Mr. Simon, whatever. I want to tell you how much of an honor it is to have you on the show first. Well, all right, let's get down to business. What got you started in YouTube poop? How'd you find out about it?
Well, I was an active member on cheesyart.com, and I happened to stumble across this short that Super Yoshi had put together for cheesyart, called something like Adventures of Super Mario Remixed or something like that, but it's now commonly known as Hot on Our Tail. I was in fits of laughter, and that was sometime before YouTube poop. That was in the summer. But I started seeing these videos crop up on YouTube a couple of months later, and the kind of humour came back, so I thought this was something I had to kind of dive into. Not as like a popularity thing. I genuinely like that kind of bizarre, random, context-missing humour. It was reminiscent of the of this show that was back in the late 90s called AKA Cult Tunes, which I was an absolute fan of, which was pretty much YouTube poop on TV, but it had a bit more context to it. It wasn't just editing here and there, although there were bits of that, but it was more like sentence mixing and stuff like that. But on TV, it was like mind-blowing. It was crazy.
Now, there's a rumor going around that you're actually the person that came up with the phrase YouTube poop. Is there any truth to that, or is that just an urban legend?
In all honesty, I have absolutely no idea who put together the term YouTube poop. As far as I remember, but it was 3 or 4 years ago, I saw the term being used on YouTube, maybe by Super Yoshi, but it was definitely from like a veterinarian guy or a fan of a veterinarian guy. It wasn't any of the people jumping in. I think I appended the term YouTube poop to some of my movies, so it was like the first use of the phrase among the batch of movies which were kind of booming out then. But I did not put the phrase together. I might have, I don't know. It was mentioned either in YouTube search listings or somebody I was talking to on MSN, I don't know.
What's the origin of the name The Electric Cheese?
Well, I was in university in 2007, and we had this group project, and we had to come up with a group name first of all, because it was a digital media thing, and I fancied going a bit wacky. First off, well, I came up with the name Surge Media because it was kind of fail-safe, and it's a nice word. But in addition, I thought maybe a quirky title would be The Electric Cheese, because the electric related to this digital media thing. But I like the idea of calling many things cheese, so I thought cheese to describe a creative group would be pretty funny. No real bigger reason behind that. But when it came to YouTube, and I wanted to move away from the MrSimonAlt name, I thought The Electric Cheese would work as a name. It was something that has stuck with me like a year later, so I came back to that.
Now, back in your early poop days, would you have thought that YouTube poop would have evolved into what it has today?
In the day, in a way, yes, but not in the sense of people kind of regularly asking the question, if you know what I mean. I knew it would kind of, well, I didn't know, but I understood that it would be something that would still be used on YouTube today, simply because people have the power to edit video and create kind of silly jokes and humour and shit. But what I didn't expect, the original material, sets of material, would still be used like several years later. I thought it would I thought each poop with it would bring a new set of material, but it seems like veterinarians and new fans alike are still fans of the Super Mario Sonic series, the CDI collection of games. I know there's something quirky about that material. It's funny because there's a lot of material out there. A lot of the time it just comes down to how many people know about the material. I mean, part of the reason Super Yoshi decided to poop some of that back on cheesyart was because the animation production was so bad, so the editing was more about highlighting the bad parts rather than, well, today it's incredible, and I feel it's simply because people now have the power to edit, whereas before they didn't. It didn't catch on where in the days of AKA Cult Tunes because the regular masses didn't have the power to play about with footage like that, so people seeing it might have thought it was just a bit stupid, that the direction wasn't there, the production values were low, they couldn't just lay back and laugh at the absurdity of it, but now we can, because we're part of that.
Now when you're making poops, what's the main thing you're trying to go for?
I try to make my poops long, and I try to give them volume, so at the end of the day, when the poop fully comes out, it's satisfying to everybody, and you can savour the flavour.
What's your favorite source to use as of now?
I've actually got a bit of a poop block. I like to call it constipation, but people on the internet call it pooping blocks. Back when I was doing poop, I was like about 6 months ago. Like the last proper one I've done is Norman, and that was kind of rolling back to Mario footage because I was kind of looking for more stuff to do, kind of dive in this material a bit deeper. But since then, I've done a bit of Team Fortress and I've done a bit of Cow and Chicken. You might see some more late 90s cartoons, bits and pieces for me, because I've been getting into that again in my free time, just watching the old cartoon shows. Particularly Dexter, you might see some Dexter poops from me. But other than that, I usually try and find like quirky shows which I know about but nobody else does. I suppose that's part of the relation to like why the early stuff was good, because not necessarily everybody had seen it, whereas you watch a CDI poop, you know exactly what phrases are going to be split up. So I'm proud of poops like Sperm with Freaking Laser Beams, because absolutely nobody knew what that source material was.
Alright, we're almost done. Got a couple of more. See, well, what kind of software do you use? What's your setup right now?
Typically I only use Adobe Premiere Pro. That usually covers everything, but occasionally I use Fruity Loop Studio for music, Adobe After Effects for titles and special effects, and Maya for 3D, although I haven't used Maya yet for a YouTube poop. Oh, actually I have. I used Maya for the titles in Robotnik Gives Sally the AIDS, although that was just a still render played about in After Effects. I could really do something in Maya. It's just I need a good idea that will kind of give me the enthusiasm.
What poop joke do you think is way overused?
Now most people say CDI, anything CDI related, but I just love the whole fact that people are kind of drawing it out and out, beating a dead horse, kind of resurrecting it again, then beating it some more, then opening it inside out, and then beating it even more. I love the flash poops that come out for CDI, because people are really diving into this material. Even though it seems everything has been done, people just keep disproving it, and in that sense, that's part of the appeal of poop for me, to see what is funny becoming not funny and then funny again. It's just, you go through many levels of funny just by bringing up the same thing over and over again. But overused, what's overused? I really don't like the F-bomb. Not a fan. Whenever I hear it, it's like, oh, again? Fucking hell.
Is there any poopers that you like?
As a consistent fan, I like Steblob stuff. You can always kind of bring something absurd out of complete randomness. It's a shame that he's it's a shame he's lost his motive, but when he comes back, I'm sure it's going to be spectacular. Other than that, I don't keenly follow any poopers now like I used to. There's nobody who kind of sticks to the poop formula as concrete as they used to, like a couple of years ago. But there's some good stuff coming out from a few artists right now. I've really gotten into Submix YTP MVs. Pretty much every one of it, the Nostalgia Critic, just cracks me up. It's incredible. As well as that, I've been really addicted to Home Pike's productions, especially Model Rocket equals Model Rocket. The kind of stuff you got going on in there blew my mind. Absolutely incredible.
And last but not least, what have you got to say to the other poopers out there?
All you poopers in the world, you're poopers. Congratulations.
Well, alright then, Mr. Cheese. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I appreciate you doing this interview.
I appreciate you two poop news. A brilliant show. Farewell.